Welcome to my Sorare Journey, episode 104. It's a huge one today. We've got some essence crafting, we've got some trade deals, and of course we got some lineup setting. Now we're going to get straight into it with essence crafting. We're not going to make anyone wait. We've got some limited essence that we need to get rid of, and some of you will remember how badly this went last time. I'm testing a new strategy, which actually would have made how it went last time just unlucky, because I don't know if these clues are actually good value for money. You're basically losing, 4 essence crafts or 3 additional essence crafts in the future for, it depends on your likelihood. Worst case 1 in 5, best chance 1 in 2. I suppose sometimes you do know 1 of 1 what you're going to get. But the point I'm making is, let's just learn. Let's live and learn. Now, in Rare, I've had a ridiculous streak of non-standard rewards, so no complaining about getting standard rewards in Limited. Probably about time I balance out. In terms of strategy, obviously we would always go 7, and I'm definitely not doing that. Unfortunately, I didn't even check what my essence is, so I think we're just going to shoot from the hip here. We're not going 7 after the disaster class last time. Nicholas Kairofia, no idea. Boom, 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 boom. 1 star. Now, I did get yelled at last time for not looking at these enough. And do I really need to look up a 1 star Nicholas Kairofia? Nicholas ripped, but at the same time, yeah, if that's £6 in Rare, we'll just be returning that. We're trying to make good content out here. So that is actually key, because 100 gets us another craft, so that is brilliant. Now, my favourite is a tier 2 plus special tier 2. Yeah, my favourite is a special tier 2, because then you can't really get anything worse. But maybe I contradict myself and go league here, because I only really want... Why is it 1,000 now? Ah, it goes up. I did not know that. So I am going to lose. It depends on your essence. In my rare essence, I only have Premier League, so revealing the league pretty key. Give me a Prem. Give me a Prem. Prem. 2 Prems. Okay. Top or bottom? Oh, it's where I went last time. Or 7. It's got to be 7. Man, see? Omar Mamouche, not bad. Is he the star? Yeah. That's a good start. Now, the only reason I was a bit disappointed is because I'm unsure of his minutes. I sold him... when did I sell him? About 4 episodes ago in a trade deal. So everything's set to that. But yeah, £20, no complaints there. We did use a clue, and it was key. Rodrigo 5-star might have been the best option there. He will probably become a Prem player at some point, but let's make sure to claim him before the time limit's up. But very pleased with that. So moving on to my essence, we are still... That's got to mean neutral essence, right? I don't know why it doesn't say that, but part of this is just learning, making up for the mistakes in last times. Special tier 2. I quite enjoyed getting the Premier League. Let's just hope for it again. Ooh, no Premier Leagues, but double La Liga. 1 or 10? 10's a higher number than 1, but 1's better in so rare terms. La Liga, tier 2s. Ah, of course. Lionel Messi, number 10, came from La Liga. Real Madrid, Rodrigo! Soon to become a Premier League player, he says. Is he the star? They wanted me to get Rodrigo. Look, my new strat's working absolute wonders. Basically, I don't think you need to cut down any more than the league. Am I going to give a lecture? I'm not sure. I just think spending less essence is best. However, in this scenario, because I had no idea of the leagues and it was all neutral, I think this has actually been a good strategy. So yeah, very, very pleased with that. You know, that's how you do it. You don't just go 7 every time. I'm very concerned that Rodrigo is not here yet. If I have 100 essence in limited, oh my god, I only have 25 essence in limited, so thankfully I didn't accidentally return him, and hopefully it just requires another refresh. Whew, that scared me. I'm basically trying to show you guys how much he's worth, because obviously I didn't do that, and it is completely irrational. So highs of 34s, lows of 20. This looks like, it's probably just the promo. I thought there was some news about him going to Arsenal or any other club, but no. I'd like to see how likely he is to play this weekend. So the Real Madrid expert says Rodri or Rodrigo is out of the question, but overall that could be good because he could get a Premier League move. I'm now just in a bit of a tricky scenario where I don't know whether to hold them or sell them. You may see some other cards here, but unfortunately those are actually all given away. So maybe it's best to do that now, and you guys can hopefully win something. This was the tweet here, episode 100 of my Sorare Journey. What an achievement, and I was giving away little Lewis Hall, who I'd really like in rare this season. I think as soon as he's back to fitness, he'll do well. Who is it going to go to? I've never used this site either, by the way, so any weirdness you will have to see, unfortunately. Patrick Shu, winner from a retweet. Now, we're just going to go check this guy, make sure he's not, follows me, and he's got his thing. Yeah, I guess the thing is just send it straight to him. I'll do that off camera, and yeah. That's the trade offer sent. Congratulations to him. But there are some bigger trade deals on the table. Starting with Florian Wirtz, who you might have seen in the last video. I will quickly go over it again because it was at the end of the last video, so lots of you wouldn't have stayed to the end. That is fine, and it is just ridiculous. It's not just Wirtz, it's 1 of 100. He paid 1.2. I got him for in the region of 500 to 550 pounds, depending how you value the cards. And wow, he's gone up again. I know, 459. How is no one getting that? That is a ridiculous price. I really think, you know, I'm happy to be wrong, but I really think these prices are attractive. Is he getting a double card with that as well? 459. Wow, what a price. Congratulations, Wade Can. Now, I want to see if he got a bonus card for free with this. We need to go to Rare to find out, and he got probably Essence. And I know that because as part of my other trade deal, that is what I got. Let me talk you through it because it's painful. It's again just me making some very critical mistakes. So, Jordan Pickford was who I wanted. I haven't got the list with me, but I did all of the team's fixtures, and obviously I already have Leno, and Pickford was basically the one that dovetailed or like linked perfectly, where one would have a weak game, one would have a strong game, just going fixture for fixture every week, and it was perfect. He was about £389. David Raya was maybe about £100 more expensive, so I spent a lot of time deciding on that. And ultimately, what it came down to was a promotion again. I ended up paying £441, £50 above the last promotion. Now, they had a very similar promotion last season, and last season, the more money you spent, the better card you got. A sort of unwritten rule. I never saw it anywhere, but I saw enough examples of it to probably be a rule. It also makes sense, you know, in the back end, you know, rewarding those that spend more money, more likely to do it next year, yada, 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 yada. But I didn't realise Essence was now available. I just read it as a free card because it's a double up. It's like a double up of the cards. Completely my fault, was very excited for it. So when I won 200 Essence, I first thought scammed, then I read it again, and then I thought idiot, and then I thought angry. So I went and launched all of my Essence, which was only 1,000, into a craft. And this was the crafting box. You can guess on your own back which position you would have gone for. I'll give you a little second. I couldn't use any clues. With one of the best, Kelleher. £165 I've got him on auction for, or offer for, which is around his last sales. I'll probably accept a little less. I'm happy to keep him for next week. So we'll see how this plays out. You know, I misread it, but I also got good in crafting, but I also won some of that. It's just a little relief off the shoulder. If I had done a bad craft and a bad purchase, it would be tough. But again, I just think these prices are really, really attractive. That puts my total spend up to £4,000 almost, which is absolutely mental. One thing I do want to touch on, which slightly annoyed me in my last video comments, was obviously there's a way to support the channel in the link below. You know, you can donate £1, you can donate £2, you can donate absolutely nothing. Doesn't really affect me. And someone was like, oh, you know, you've got a bigger gallery than most people on this game and you're asking them for money. It's like, no. The thing about Vert was obviously a joke. I do this because it's enjoyable, but it also costs me a lot of time and a lot of money. It's more the production where the money would go. It's not going to my Sorare account. You know, I work very hard, both at my real job and having 2 YouTube channels in the background. So it's just something on my chest where it's like, I don't want nor need any money from you guys, but it's nice. You know, it's like, if you wanted to, you can. And that's sort of where the option is. So yeah, just clearing that up really. But don't get me wrong, £4,000 on a 1-year cycle of this game is mental. Let's not forget, most of that is profit from last season mixed with profit from ETH going up in value. So, you know, it makes it easier to spend. That's all I'm going to say. But if I win nothing this season, I will be fuming. I will indeed be fuming. More fuming than when I didn't get verts in the craft. But now I realise that might not have been my fault. So looking at the teams and stuff is probably where this will make more sense. Because I am so keen for 5x hot streaks. I've hit the first one. We now need to go and get 420 points and just try and build as far as we can. Who knows how far we can go, but buying all the star cards, it certainly helps your chances. Looking at this, you can see my teams for this weekend. Now, I'm going to go through my thoughts for them because a lot of you seem to love that. And I've been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Cole Palmer, Bukayo Saka. And it feels like 90% of the fantasy football world is doing the same because FPL, they all have the same problem. Now, I'm learning from last week. You would have seen in the last episode, it's how to win on Sorare. You assess your mistakes, you get better at them. It was not considering every option. Aït-Nouri, I think he can put up good scores, but it's a risk. He'll probably be against Kudus on that right wing. Coming off good form, could beat him in a lot of duels. Gonna rule that out. Pickford, goalkeeper, is typically a poor captain choice because your ceiling's about 85 points rather than 100. And against Brighton, it'll be tough to keep a clean sheet, let alone get 100. If he gets 100, I'm not going to complain that I didn't captain him. I'm probably going to be doing somersaults down the street, depending on what the rest of the team get. Now, Fernandes is genuinely a hot option for me. A 65 average player against a weak team that, you know, for me, United lost their last game, but I'm calling them on good form. I'm, again, really confident in them. Have I only seen one game? Yes. Have you only seen one game? Yes. It's too early to say, but my confidence is there. But I do think both of these games could be high scoring for Chelsea and Arsenal. Now, the default option is obviously Saka. It's an easier fixture. They're at home. But let's consider all the factors here. You know, just going easy fixture, boom, done, great. Not ideal. One place I will start is, I'll look at Chelsea. Because I said Crystal Palace was a tough game. But look at the rest of their basic pre-season. You know, beating every single team, high scoring in a lot of them, and Cole Palmer's at the centre of it. Then, if we go to fixtures and we go to basically the preview, the head-to-head of Chelsea versus West Ham, which I don't put too much reliance on, very little, very strong for Chelsea. 5-0, 3-0, 2-1, yes, they lost that in 2023, but this is a different Chelsea team, which is obviously why you don't put too much reliance on these things. Now, playing away from home always worries me, but the London Stadium, in the nicest way, and I think West Ham fans would probably agree, they'd probably say be more harsh, it has no soul, no passion. I've been there, fans are saying it's getting worse and worse. You're miles away from the actual pitch. It's not going to be like an away fixture. So if you bring that form in and you bring a normal, if you just skip the Crystal Palace game, he's a 100% pick. You don't look at anyone else. Now, the vice versa of this is Arsenal, who won against United, who didn't play well. Saka was pointless in the game, did nothing. But again, you've got to look to his preseason and say, very good here. High scoring, great team. Lost to Spurs. High scoring, beating a great team. And beating AC Milan as well. And of course, the key to this is Leeds. Leeds, they were fantastic against Everton in terms of like chance creation, in terms of actually getting shots on target and scoring. They weren't particularly great. In fact, I'd say very bad. But they're probably better than people think. A 0-0 Man United, a 0-0 Villarreal, a 1-1 AC Milan. I can see, basically they're all draws. So they can sit back well. And this is what happens, I've seen it so many times across fantasy football. Easy fixture, very easy fixture. But it's not. It's one team with a low block against another team trying to score. It's not as fruitful for fantasy football points as you think. So for me, this is an absolute coin flip, except for one key factor. I would say if the general population had this choice, 80% would go Saka because of the easy fixture. So, in that scenario, if I'm 50-50 and everyone else is 80-20, you want to take the smaller option. So you're competing against a smaller group if Palmer outscores Saka. It's not just about hot streaks now. It's about prizes. If Saka drops a 50 and Palmer drops 100, I can still get first place. Vice versa, I probably can't. And there will be more people captaining Saka, so I think I'm going to stick with Palmer unless there's any late news. And if he double blanks on me, if he double 39 scores me, insta sell. Did I mention why I'm not captain Fernandes? No, it's just the fact that obviously they played. Who did they play last time out? Fulham played Brighton last time out, was what I was thinking of. They played very well. So I don't want to get too caught up in the hype. It's like definite, probably going to score quite a lot of goals between these two fixtures. This one less confident on, so let's just keep it safe. Fernandes probably more likely to hit a 90 to 100 score maybe, but that is where you're sort of balancing this, pushing for the top rewards in terms of like being top of the leaderboard and hitting your hot streaks. It's like I'm trying to play both because that's what I'm trying to do in the real world, in the real So Rare. On to the second team. It is very, very much a second team. I am looking for some depth in this option. Probably get rid of Kelleher, bring in. Perfect option would be Reece James. Next two fixtures are brilliant. But the concern, injuries. If I spend £200 on Reece James, he's obviously going to get injured, is how I feel. So, yeah. I don't know what I'm looking for here. I do get 6%, which is nice. How far into the 6% am I? Have I got loads of room? Yeah, I've got loads of room if I did want to improve that. So, the options there. I think I'm probably just looking to get out of Div 3 because I didn't play last week. I'm going to be in Div 3. But yeah, any essence would be good. I think there's chance here. Paulinho's got a difficult fixture, but as a CDM, he could be winning loads of duels and stuff. Michael Keane is probably someone that needs the most improvement, and I'll be sure to look at that. One other factor I forgot to mention in my Saka decision when it loads is I have Captain Saka in my champion team. Now, if Arsenal do dominate and Saka smashes 100, I'll be competing against a lot of people. Top 50 will be difficult. But I think it's a nice hedge where that 80-20 is 80-20% of the decision, but I've got a little insurance plan. I've got Saka in 2 teams, so if he rips 100, I'm not going to be sad, is basically my issue. Now, this, as you're looking at it, could change. The huge swap, and I've changed them very many times, is Raya for Pickford and Saka for Wirtz. Just because I don't really have full confidence in Saka. I don't know why. It's just that game, a couple of pre-seasons, the Spurs result. Don't have full faith, but it is such a favourable fixture. I can't bring it back. And, obviously Liverpool scored 4 goals last time out. Yeah, this is probably the safe decision. So I'm happy to, again, hot streaks, playing it safe. But I've done a little bit of differentials. I've captained Palmer. And obviously there's probably not many people that have Fernandes in goal and Aït-Nouri. So I've got the differentials and I've got a bit more safety is sort of how I'm looking at it. I think all are very likely to play, all 90%, Aït-Nouri at 80. I think that's spot on. But yeah, I think that's the key for them. And we do have a good contender lineup, which Kawasaki Frontale will be the death for me on this game, I swear. I just want... Is it not even... It is doubled, right? Yeah. I just want $20 for 275 points. We've bought in some much needed reinforcement. The only reason we've bought that in is because of an injury, but whatever. We got this guy for £5, £7, and hopefully he can, just get into the Kawasaki lads, show them some sense. 275 points. I need 420 in bloody Premier League. More competitive league. But anyway, that's my rant over for them. I think if you're looking to this team, it's probably one that looks great on paper. I love, 90% of these fixtures. But I just saw how competitive Champion was. Classic Champion, I should say. Actually, it's only one Champion anymore. So I saw how competitive Champion was, and it scared the living life out of me. So, yeah. I don't know if I've really given up hope in Champion, especially because the cards are so cheap. I honestly cannot believe some of these in-season prices. Let's check Saka. I've not checked him in a while, especially against... It just makes no sense. Like, last season, I picked up Palmer in October for £1,000. I'd say there's probably a little bit more star quality in the Premier League this year with some big signings, but yeah, that's why I've put more money in, because it's like I seriously think there's an opportunity. Now, it doesn't mean the card prices won't continue to go down, but it means I'm giving myself a great shot of sort of securing those hot streaks and early rewards that compound and things like that. The only other thing I think I've got to mention is a little trade deal. I'm desperately after this Reece James card, so I'm happy to get any classic Reece James card. Obviously said I don't want to spend £300 on a brand new in-season card, but surprisingly enough, the classic variation, very, very much affordable. £16 is cheap. I've got a load of cards around that value which, have a little bit of impact on the gallery. I'm looking at Bernardo Silva's, David Rams. They're not useless, but I think Reece James can play in my in-season team next week, because I'm 100% looking forward to the next week. Planning my teams forward is basically what I mean, rather than being excited for it. But yeah, this is how it would look. And I was looking at Van Dijk and I was like, it's not a great selection. What I wanted here was Mateus Cunha, but obviously getting Wirtz sort of threw that out the window a bit. But, Wirtz is a play versus anyone because he's on set pieces and he's a joke. So, yeah, dropping in a £15 card here could have huge benefits because they're playing Fulham. Depending how the Fulham game goes, of course, but I get at least 2 fixtures out of him. And then the goalkeeper scenario will probably be Leno. And then that'll be like a hedge if Palmer does bad. Leno should put up a huge score. That's it. There's been so much thought. I am so tired of looking at trade deals, auctions, and it's just time to, I wouldn't say put your money where your mouth is. Maybe it's more like have the court decide. Maybe you in the comments can tell me what a good way to describe when you've done all your planning, you've got nothing left to do, you just wait for the verdict. That's sort of the wording I was thinking of. We do actually have an arena team as well. Celtic could rest before their European Champions League qualifier, second leg. The first leg, 0-0 against the Kazakhstan team. Don't think I want to say any more on that as a Celtic fan. So if you dropped a like, if you enjoyed this, please drop a like. I'm so tired. I've been working hard, but thank you for watching. All the best.